So basically what happened was, so I wanted to start Karmaloop, and it wasn't called Karmaloop at that point. I just wanted to, this guy who just was in here, Al, he had an electronic music magazine called Decontrol, and we were trying to sell ads, and I was helping him out, and basically there was some of these cool clothing labels that I saw a lot of like people in the culture wearing, DJs, hip hop artists, skaters, stuff like that. And since all like sort of the leaders of the culture wearing, I figured these guys had some money, so I called them up and said, hey, can you take ads? And they said, we don't have any money. I said, what do you mean you don't have any money? They said, well, all the people you're talking about live in New York and LA. And there's like one boutique there and two boutiques in New York or something like that. So I realized that there was like an opportunity, supply and demand, meaning that the supply was much more limited. The demand, if you lived in Ohio or you lived in Corpus Christi, Texas, or anywhere like that, you couldn't get these brands. And so, the internet wasn't that old at this point. This was in the early 2000s. So I set up a little like online store using a third-party, platform like an eBay store sort of thing. And so a friend of mine, this guy Adrian O'Connor, who I knew basically lived in an abandoned building, and he like stole electricity. He was a bike messenger guy, and he was like super artist guy. And his main sort of art that he did was stained glass, and he had a degree in sacred geometry from the University of Vermont, which is like the study of Celtic symbols and Buddhist symbols and stuff like that. And so he also did like dabble in web design. So I was like, hey, can you just do a little bit of a design for this website that doesn't have a name yet? And so the initial design was the Buddhist symbol karma, which is like this swooping, looping kind of thing to it. So we just called it. I had a business partner really early on, but he basically said there's no way this is going to work, and moved to San Francisco after a year. And I took his other. He owned 50% of the company, so I bought it for $10,000 from him, which is, I don't think if he stayed involved, he necessarily would have been successful. So it doesn't really matter, But obviously that 50% is worth a lot of money. We were like 3 miles from here in Jamaica Plain. So it was after college. I was living at home. The warehouse was my parents' basement. I could take you guys over there someday if you wanted to see it. I mean, when I say basement, it was a basement. Like there was like water on the floor. It wasn't like a finished basement. Like the ceilings were low and it was dingy. That was the Karmaloop office for like a year and a half, and warehouse. Yeah, I mean, I've always been into. I was into hip hop first when I was younger, and then I kind of found out about electronic music in high school. So I've always been sort of into both. And I did graffiti, like some of those paintings out there I did. And I always liked cool clothing and kind of subcultures and stuff like that. I mean, it was just a natural extension of stuff. I bought like a size run of 3 different styles,
Right.
And at the time, I mean, I didn't even have enough money to buy the goods. So what I did is I went to the trade shows, and I went in and I made like a cool mock-up, like PowerPoint of like what Karmaloop was supposed to be, what's it about, and the idea that it was more than just a retailer. It was a media site, and there was a lot of marketing that we were going to do for the brand. I basically went into the clothing booth where they sell. I don't know if you guys have been to Magic, but it's and so most of the people just kick me out of it. Like, yeah, dude, you want us to give you clothes for. Because I basically said, I don't have any money, just give me the clothes. When I sell them, I'll send you the money, which is called consignment. But most people were just like, dude, you're crazy, get out of here. And a lot of people didn't have a very good opinion of the internet either at that time.
Yeah.
A lot of brands we sell today even like, I'll never sell on the internet. The idea of being on the internet was like being cheap and like low quality, and like being on the internet was somehow to a lot of idiots was like something they say, oh, we'll never do. Every one of them does it now, of course. But they just were stupid.
Yeah.
They didn't understand where technology was going. They thought it was like I mean, I learned a lot of stuff. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't like, I have a master's in public policy, so I thought I was going to be an urban planner, which is like city design and uses and stuff. And I mean, I've always been interested in cities and how cities work, and I mean, obviously this culture is an extension of that, and so, it was cool because I was pretty young, and I got, I didn't do it for very long, but I got to be involved and like see how building projects were planned and stuff like that. And so the first 2 years at Karmaloop, I was working for the city still.
Oh, right.
I couldn't afford to just do the business full time at that point. I didn't have any money, so and my expenses were low. I was living at home. I put what I had back into the company. I borrowed some money, a little bit of money here and there. But in the beginning days, like $20,000 took me through a whole year. So we do $400,000 a day in sales. So it's a massive difference.
Yeah.
Would you contact the suppliers directly and then buy from them and then have it in your basement? You said the basement acts as a warehouse as well.
Yeah.
So when orders come in,
the space was like, I could put all the clothes we had in Karmaloop in that corner.
Yeah.
I graduated in 2005, so I was well into Karmaloop by the time I was there.
Oh, okay. And so you just kept the two running?
Yeah, well, you just good backup plan, right?
Yeah.
So I figured I got into Harvard, which is not easy. You might as well get the degree, right? Yeah. It's a great place to be for us because, if we were in New York, we'd be competing with all the other fashion businesses to get talent, and we get a lot of kids right at it. Like a lot of people, almost, a third of the people who work here came from Emerson, like right out of Emerson. We have tons of interns who were like hungry to do stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I think it's fun to. It makes it. I think everyone here kind of knows that we're a little bit of an upstart and kind of making waves. And I think people want to. It gives people a reason to try and push things forward. Yeah. We want to try and make the city a better place and put our mark. Make our mark a little bit. And